truth.
Welcome to Todd's Truth with another episode of Creator's Truth. And this time with my guests, we've got Brian from DojoKunComics. Hi,
hey,
Brian.
everybody.
And we've got Lee or Kemosabe.
G'day everyone, I'm the Man Called Kemosabe, the man with the plan from the land down under, and thanks for having me on your show, Todd.
No problem. That's good.
Yeah. We have people in the chat like, he's doing the thing.
Yeah. No, seriously, I think you are the fastest talking person I've ever heard.
I've been told that quite a bit, yeah. And
yeah.
the whole family's like it. I just honestly, my wife's a talker in my family. My brother, he's a preacher man, so he talks even faster than I do. So it's pretty funny when people, I'm the quiet one in the family.
I can imagine after a holiday dinner, if I had spent the time with you at your family, I would be exhausted.
Yeah. Maybe that's why we're all introverts. There's so much of each other we can stand.
Yeah. Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah. That's another thing. What do you guys think about this whole new comic book way going on now where it's with YouTube and stuff like that, where you have to promote yourself? It's self-promotion as much as it is about your campaigns and your comics.
It's the ultimate meritocracy, but with that, there's some people who just aren't equipped to do that sort of thing. I know Dave Brink from Perfect 10, he was talking about how he really struggles to get on live streams and just talk and just be yourself. I've said before that all the jobs I've ever had, from salesman to, I won't say what I used to do because I don't dox myself, has led me to the point where I'm capable and confident talking on stream about whatever for as long as you want. I can just go on. But someone like Dave, who's got a brilliant product, like Perfect 10 was one of my top 10 books of 2020. It's an absolutely perfect 90s style good girl superhero, just enough cheesecake, just enough wholesome goodness. I love it. It's like Danger Girl, but more fun. And he said he can't get on live stream. And so he's a guy who's got a fantastic product that should, by all accounts, be really, really popular and do well. Fantastic art, great story, beautiful colors. Colors just pop. Great team he's got there. Power Roderick's on the art there, and he can't get on.
Looks really good.
Yeah,
I just saw it for the first time the other day, and I was like, "Wow, this looks really good."
This is what I was saying before the stream. Like, he's going to be able to do that 1 and 2 combo now. People are going to pick up both books, read them back to back. Yeah. It was probably a year ago that I read Perfect 10. But here's a guy who's got this fantastic product, and he can't necessarily promote it as well as you'd like. And then on the other hand, you've got people who are, let's say, personalities who are able to sell a book based on their own personality, not the quality of the book necessarily. And I'm not saying that's bad or wrong. Like, it is, again, it's a meritocracy, it's capitalism, all for it. Hey, K Manifesto is everywhere I go. I'm loving it. I don't think he's following me personally. I'm not that self-involved, but this dude is just always around. He's just like his heart and soul. Yeah, man. Legend.
Hey, Black Rose.
Bros is here. Bros is here. Bros is my bro.
Hey, and somebody else is here. I don't know. Who's this?
So, yeah, it helps me a bit. I'm hoping that I do have the quality of the book that Kemosabe is talking about, but I have a little bit of a leg up because I used to be a radio disc jockey.
There you go.
Oh,
so
very nice.
On microphone's not a problem.
Yes,
nice.
I thought this. You always talk well. You always talk easy and smooth. You don't trip over your words. Some people, when they haven't done this sort of thing before, you can see them racking their brains trying to pull it out of the old data banks. But when you've spoken publicly at length before, you're able to find those words really, really easy. It becomes almost like muscle memory. I noticed that in your public appearances, you just seem to speak really easily.
Thank you very much. Another thing that I have that some people have to develop is that automatic filter. I know there's like a certain number of words and certain words you really shouldn't say that are triggers, or, the FCC here in America will sometimes randomly listen to radio stations in order to listen for those trigger words. And your fine can be $10,000 for each time they identify one. So it's $10,000 for the disc jockey and $10,000 for the radio station.
Oh, wow.
You've got to be super careful not to say a certain set of, there was 24 words when I was in radio. Who knows? It's probably a lot more now because of all the out there.
Yeah, probably.
That's a good skill
lot
to
of words that are ridiculous.
Yes.
Because, your brand, what you're talking about, Todd, is you are your brand. You sell yourself first and the book second. If you sell the book first and yourself second, you don't tend to meet with as much success. But if you don't have the skills to sell yourself, you still don't meet with success. So you need that filter. So you're not saying something. I see people online that are selling a book and they'll have some really, not radical, but strong, firm, draw a line in the ground political stance. And they say that. And I'm like, you've just cost yourself sales. Like, I'm no fence sitter, but how I vote shouldn't shouldn't get in the way of the story I'm telling you guys. I don't
Right.
have an agenda. I'm not trying to convert anybody to my way of thinking. I'm trying to tell just a cool kick-ass story about some bad dudes doing worse things to bad guys. You know, that's the extent of it. So if you know, and I've said, if you can work out how I vote based on my books, I've done something wrong. You shouldn't be able to tell my politics. And not everybody understands the political system here in Australia, but you shouldn't be able to guess left or right or centrist or whatever. You should just, it shouldn't even be in your mind. You should just be able to read my book and go, hey, that was fun. I'll read that again in a minute and put it down, go make a cuppa or whatever.
Yeah. And that's what it should be. Entertainment and comics and all that. There should be no political BS in any of it. It should be entertainment. I like movies that you go to check your brain at the door because you want to watch a movie and laugh. I don't want something that's going to throw a bunch of political bull at me in a movie. I'll walk out and I won't go to see it at all. And the same with comic books. I
got to wonder if maybe there's a deliberate agenda there and a deliberate move, because for years people have been
saying, is here in Hollywood. I've worked in the industry for a while, and there is. It's deliberate. Yeah.
It's just like this whole mentality of popcorn movies and check your brain at the door, that sort of thing. They talk about the dirty phrases, like it's something to look down upon. Oh, it's just a B movie. It's just an action movie. It's a popcorn flick. And they use that like it's a pejorative to push people away from enjoying those and sort of herding us into the idea that we have to enjoy these highbrow political movies that have an agenda. So in every way possible.
Which are usually horrible.
Universally.
Horrible movives. That's why I like Adam Sandler.
Yeah.
I'll put his movies on and I'll laugh at it because it's stupid. Because it's just funny.
I love that dodgeball with Vince Vaughn and Ben Stiller. Oh man, I know every joke in it. I know every line. It still makes me laugh.
Oh, my wife too. She always says stuff from that movie. Yeah. Or other Adam Sandler movies. She always quotes them. It's hilarious.
If you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. And that's good. And I've come back to that movie time and time and time again. I'm not going to go back to Wakanda Forever calling me a colonizer because of the color of my skin or whatever. Like, I don't come back to this second time. I'll come back to that fun stuff. I've got kids now. I don't have a lot of time. I'm playing all my video games on easy because I don't have time to play it on hard or nightmare or whatever, And if I'm going to watch a movie for 2 hours, if I have that much time and I'm not writing something, which I usually am, I want to just be able to chill, man. I want to, like you said, turn your brain off, just enjoy it, enjoy the colors, enjoy the, the storyline. I still make connections as a storyteller. You can't help but see those connections, but I certainly don't. I'm just saying the same thing everybody else here is saying. I don't want to be preached at. I already got my own set of ideas. I can hear contrary ideas, but when you say here's the only idea, and if you don't subscribe to this, you're wrong, you're bad, you're the problem, that's when you lose me as a customer.
Right. And that shouldn't be. It shouldn't be that way in any form of entertainment. I don't care if it's football, if it's sports or American football. I mean, if it's soccer, football, or any sport or any entertainment or anything like that, there shouldn't be any of that. It should be entertainment value only.
Yeah, well, so over here now we've got the NRL people kneeling, during the national anthem of the NRL, and we've got there's Indigenous Australians, Aboriginal Australians.
Hey, so Finatra.
Hey, Finatra. He's a good dude, Finatra.
Yeah.
He let me on his show one time. The chat was brutal. They ripped me apart. They hated me, but I really appreciate him letting me on to pick my comic out. They were in the chat, man. They told me a new one. And Finatra's like, you can come back whenever you want, man. I'm like, I'm not going to give me a week before I sit down again. That was good. It's good learning experience.
Let me go lick my wounds and I'll think about it.
You got to have thick skin in this game.
Yeah.
If you're there promoting yourself, picking yourself,
whether people are just joking with you or not, in any form of entertainment or arts like this, like comics, you've got to have a thick skin, because if you don't, you're not going to be able to take any kind of critique. And critiquing is how you learn how to become better.
Not only that, but a lot of people show their affection by giving you a hard time.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, if they didn't love you, they wouldn't be messing with you. That's right. At least that's how I grew up in my family. We used to rip each other apart all the time, but it's because we loved each other, but we would rip each other apart just for the fun of it.
That's part of Australian culture. Like, we've got a real like sledging culture, real shit talking culture. Give everybody a hard time. There's definitely like tall poppy syndrome. Like, if you stick your head up, it's going to get cut off. So everybody sort of gives each other shit to keep each other down on the same level. It's a little bit crabs in a bucket, but it's like for your own good. Because if you do stick your head up in Australia, you will get chopped off. You will get attacked, because for whatever reason, the media just sees someone, a bit like the UK media. I think they see someone just standing tall and everyone else, they just zero in on that person. So we all just sort of keep each other down a bit. So just keep your head down, just take it easy. It's good fun.
Yeah, it's fun when if you know that it's not being out of mean or being mean or spiteful, but then it's fun. It's just them messing with you because they like you.
Because it wouldn't bother if they didn't. If they couldn't care less about you, they certainly wouldn't be bothered.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's like, no, what? I don't hear anything. Sorry. So it's like, you know, if you've done stuff like, you know, different jobs or different things like that, you know, that you've got these kind of critiques and it wasn't nice, you have to grow thick skin. And if it is, then you're just like, no, it means nothing to me.
Yeah.
And you move on.
Look at look at Bancroft's stream. They're always giving him hassle over there. They're always constantly just ripping him a new one, and he knows that's how he's got him paying attention all day. When I come on and people like, don't sync up your breathing to Kemosabe when he talks, you're going to asphyxiate, or they, you know, I was talking about how
Mo Biggs,
you know, he's a classic. I used to be really good at playing the didgeridoo. I haven't done it for 10 years now, so I haven't got that cyclical breathing anymore that you need. And I was talking about playing the didge and little didge, big didge, and people making penis-sized jokes at me and stuff. All right, it's all good. Like, no one really cares or thinks about, you know, that. So it's just a fun way to say, hey, I see you. We're all in the same ballpark, you know. I like it because you can't do it outside of these realms. Maybe that's part of what brings people to indie comics, to Comicsgate in general, is because we still have that sort of the way it was 20, 30 years ago. I'm old enough to still remember that sort of thing. You go and do that out in the real arena. No way. You get Alex DeCampiage. You get, like, I just saw that article with her and the Whisper Network and that. You can't. Imagine if you said some of that stuff, some of these snowflakes, you're just giving a bit of a, you know, a bit of a ribbing, bit of a, no way, man, you'd be cancelled faster than you can blink.
It's a good thing I don't believe in canceling. So cancel something if you don't believe in it. So
that's right. Don't
there's
let
nothing
them
they can
do
do about it. So let me ask you guys. Okay, a question I've been asking people, and has come up with some really good answers and stuff from it. Has if you could pick, who is your favorite comic book character? Bad guy or good guy? That's why I'm saying character, not a hero or villain. But who would be your favorite character?
She-Hulk.
Oh, She-Hulk.
Good choice. Good choice.
Yeah, I collect every appearance of She-Hulk. She's been
except
in
the new one, right?
Well, I still
looks like a man.
I don't like it much, but I still do collect it. Yeah, I even collect like cameo appearances, cover-only appearances. She's been in more than 4,500 appearances, and I've got nearly all of them.
Wow, that's awesome.
Impressive, man. Yeah, that's cool. That's cool to have that. My favorite character has always been Superman, so I certainly couldn't collect all his appearances. I'd need to be Nick Cage to manage that. I heard he bought the first Superman comic for like $2 million a couple of years ago. Action Comics #1. I like Superman because he started it off, and he's even though a lot of my stuff's sort of dark and edgy and killing, and it's not deconstructionist, but it's like, you know, 90s edgy image type stuff in a lot of ways. That I say they're super, but they're not heroes. It's like the tagline I use with the company men frequently. And I've sat down to try and write wholesome comics a few times, and it always ends up being sort of this deconstructionist Watchmen type thing where everybody's horrible pricks. I will get there eventually. I'm going to write a really wholesome, uplifting, Paragon-style superhero comic at some point. I tried. I sat down, I was writing this Batman-esque one, trying to do like a modern 60s era Batman sort of thing, if you could mesh the two together. And he's breaking dudes' arms and stuff. And like, I went for Dark Knight Returns again. I can't help myself. I don't know. But I'm always chasing that Superman vibe. I love Superman. I love Truth, Justice, the American Way. I love, you know, Up and Away, all that sort of thing. That's, for me, that's where it begins and ends at Superman.
Yeah, it is hard. I do that too, where I try to write nice characters, but I always end up writing like anti-heroes or they're heroes, but maybe not so much.
Yeah.
But I think with mine, even though they don't get that violent all the time, they end up always being a smartass.
Yeah. Well, you know, they say that with pro wrestlers, like their persona is just like a bigger version of them. It's them turned up to 11. You know, Steve Austin's still a redneck and Mick Foley's still a weird dude, you know. Yeah. So maybe there's some element of that there. There's some sort of, maybe deep down I am cynical, and that comes through in my characters. But I crave that heroic world where people can do the right thing, and maybe I want to be a better person myself. I want to be a better man who makes better choices. And that's why I look up to Superman, but still write these guys at my own level. You know, not that I'm as horrible as these CIA-funded killers, but to dob myself in there. Yeah. Had to get deep about it.
Yeah, I do the same thing. It's like that's what I do too. I try to write, you know, these good characters, these, you know, good, really good, but it always turns a little dark with these guys. Yeah. And then you go back and you read it and you're like, wait, that's not what I intended that to do. But how did it come out that way?
I'm looking at the script for the second company, man, because I've got all four stories written, but each story is 3 issues. So I'm looking at story 2 called Hearts of Darkness, where they have to go into Africa to find a rogue nuke that's not being used for the reasons that you'd normally use the nuke for. Is the sort of the twist to it. And there's a scene there where they come across a some, I guess, like POWs or something that have got powers. The powers are out of control. They're a danger to people. They can't contain them, but they can't leave them because they've got to move on to the next thing. So one of the company men just just puts a bullet in both their heads and walks away. And I'm reading that scene going, is that too much? Like, it's a mum and her son, and the son's like, I don't know, 14, and it's the mum, and they're like, but the powers are out of control. They're a danger to themselves, danger to other people nearby. They can't box them up and contain them. They can't take it with them. They can't leave them to be a danger. So they just get the call to put a bullet in someone's head. And I'm just like, I don't know, man. I wrote these guys to be really super edgy, but the more people are investing in it, the more people are investing in the characters, the more they're talking about these characters. I think I'm going to have to pull back on some of that stuff because I think a scene like that, I didn't think it was true, but I think a scene like that now, I believe somebody could read that, get to the point and go, I'm out. I'm done. That was too much for me. I'm not like that. Like, I like a lot of James Ellroy, like really gritty, really hard, like LA Confidential, Black Dahlia, White Jazz, that sort of stuff. There's some really, really gruesome, really grounded, realistic stuff there that I'm into when I'm reading. So I just sort of thought there's more people out there like me, but the more and more with the comic people I'm hearing, they just don't want that level of darkness. They do want something a little bit more positive. So I'm sort of thinking this.
Say that one thing you might do is change it from a 14-year-old. I think that's the part that might be just a little over the line for some people.
Yep. Or and that's a very, very valid idea. The other idea I had was they get the call to execute these people, and they're like, we're just totally going to do that, boys. We're just going to sign off. We'll cook back in a minute. And like, get out of here. Yeah, sure did enjoy shooting those people. I'm glad they're dead. Let's get on with the mission, everyone. So there's a few ways I could go about it, but it's certainly opened my eyes because
you should have him shoot like he shot them so that they can hear it. Bam, bam. Yep. Okay, done. Let's go.
And smoking bullet holes in the concrete next to them. They're like,
yeah, exactly. Yeah,
that might be the go. And especially then if you bring that around to the point that the dude has kids of his own back home, and he's off missions to provide for them or whatever, and he couldn't bring himself to that sort of thing. There's a character moment there, but it's constantly changing this writing game and responding to what people want. Like, you can put a product out there and say I'm writing for the people who like my thing, but if there's not a big audience for that, I had this art teacher that said if you don't make art for the purpose of it being interacted with by other people, she said you're masturbating, you're having a wank. She goes, her name was Jill, and she's very posh. She goes, if you're not making art for the purposes of interaction with an audience, you're having a wank. She's very, very profitable. And she was 100% right. If you're just making art or doing anything, video games, whatever, and you're just doing it for yourself, it's just something that you enjoy for yourself. It's not necessarily literal masturbation, but you're doing something that makes you feel better or good.
Right.
She was right about that. So when you're making your art and you're putting it out there to be interacted with, you got to have that thick skin. You got to feel to yourself, and you got to be ready that people are going to come back on you and say, hey, those guys just killed a 14-year-old. I'm out. And that gives me pause to reconsider. So I think, Brian, I think that's really good advice, man. They're going to look at that scene again. Right.
There was, I can't remember who said it. Somebody was saying that they actually had a tier where they could decide part of the story, or there was something to go on in the story. And what it came down to was that they decided whether or not this family was killed or lived or what. And the person decided that the kid lives, but the parents both got killed. So I was like, wow, okay.
That's an interesting way to do things.
So it was Batman.
I was going to say it's
yeah, they went all Batman on him. Yeah,
so, it's like half a Jason Todd. We won't kill the kid, but we'll kill the parents instead.
Right. Yep.
Instead of calling in. Yeah. I know people do a lot of that drawn in sort of tier. I wanted to do that after the fact, but all the art's already done on my book, so I'd have to go back and get Kelso to white, because he did a traditional. So you have to white out people's faces, or I don't know, redraw it and digitally put it together. I just think I'll just do it next time. Yeah, just if it's already done, just do it for the next campaign. That will be something else to add on for the next campaign to help people. Well, I have to do it now because he's doing the art for book 2 now. Like, I've got book 1 done. While book 1 is funding, he's already working on book 2. I've got the first few pages that come through. So I'd have to be selling you an appearance in this campaign for the next book. And I don't know how people would like that, because they might not necessarily back the second campaign and they won't even see themselves. So it's a funny thing, this whole Kickstarter Indiegogo game, like all your different tiers and trying to get people in and to invest in your book. I've been hustling hard trying to say to everybody, look, we've got all the art done, and there's no political agenda here. It's just good, clean fun and all the, the great art and the colors and everything. But there's a lot of competition out there now. I don't think that the quality of the books has ever been better.
No, that's the amount of talent right now that's come in now is like amazing, because it's like, wow, there's so much talent, and every time you turn around, there's another project. There's another project. I'm like, I can't even keep up sometimes. I'm like, oh my gosh, like I miss some projects and I see them on a stream. I'm like, oh, I didn't even know about that one. I'll go check that one out. Another thing I was going to bring up was, go ahead. Sorry.
I just do a bit of editing work on some of these books. Some people doing Indiegogo Comicscape books, and I just looked over Joseph Catapano Star Circuit, that like motorbike.
Oh yeah, sorry, yeah.
The script for that was excellent, man. I almost gave him his money back. So I said, "There's nothing I can change. All I can do is point to places where you've done the right thing." I'm like, "This is good. This is great world building. This is such a believable character moment. I didn't expect this, but it fits with the character. Like excellent, just absolutely excellent." I thought this guy's first book. He's doing all the art, first time out the gate. Like a super tight, really, really good script. Like I've got serious competition in this guy. Like I think my book's going to be one of the breakout books of 2021. I really believe it's that good. But I got some serious competition with these guys, and I see tweets that Tompa does. Tompa's an absolutely amazing hype man for us. He does so much promoting, and there'll be 5 or 6 books. And I look at my book amidst 5 others, and I'm like, every one of those books there is top tier. I'm just amidst quality company. My peers are so talented. There's never been a better time to be doing this. At the same time, that means you might not be making as much money the first time around. You've really got to prove yourself because of maybe some bad actors or that sort of thing.
Exactly. And they always give, everybody gets the bad reputation because of a few. The reason I brought that up was because, with what do you guys think about being on camera and doing the stuff with YouTube is that, there's been people that I've heard people say it before that, and I personally do it, is that if I don't see the creator's face, I don't know if I'll back the project.
Mm-hmm.
Because you never know what the actual creator's doing. Just because I'm saying something, I can put any inflection I want in my voice, but if you can't see their face, when they're talking about their project, it kind of turns me off on projects. And there's been projects where I wasn't going to back them, and then I did see the creator on a stream, and I backed the project because you can actually see, like you guys, you can, and everybody nowadays in this group now, it's like you can see the love and the passion for their projects in their face and the way they talk, and then like that does a lot to sway people to want to back those projects.
Absolutely.
But if I'm sitting here like this and I'm talking, I can't do anything in my voice I want, like that. You never know till you see the face, and then you're like, oh, because I've studied psychology in schools, those kind of things, and facial expressions tell a lot about what somebody's really thinking or really doing. And I wonder if that's why, other than some people maybe don't want to find out who they really are, but there's a problem too, because if you're going to do something, do it. I worked in some industries where you could these days probably get in trouble for it, but I work in one right now, but I'm not afraid to show my face because I'm like, come at me, come on. If you know who I really am, bring it. I'm not afraid of that.
Especially if you can stand by what you're saying,
right?
And I guess that comes back to that filter that you're talking about before, Brian. Like, I don't need to go off on what I believe specifically about any specific topic. You bring up whatever's in the news. It's not my job to talk to you about that. You guys, there's other forums that we're here to talk about comics, so I can definitely dial that back because I don't want to alienate anybody, and that's why I got on the camera. Everybody thought I looked more like my avatar. Everybody thought I looked like the Australian shitpost.
That was so funny the first time you showed your face, and everybody went, "What? That's not what he looks like."
I didn't know if I was ever going to go on a stream with my face, but exactly what you said, Todd. Like I heard so many people say, I need to see the creator to connect.
Right.
And
you can't be expected to connect with an icon.
No, and I think probably Zach's one of the few people, your boy Zach's probably one of the few people that sort of circumvents that, even though we've seen his face, he doesn't show his face.
Right.
He's managed to get big enough and popular enough without that. But he's got such a strong personality. He's got all these, when I was a Marine stories and all that sort of stuff to endear you to the audience. So he can bypass that. But for the rest of us, trying to promote ourselves as well as our book, I think you're spot on, mate. I think we need to get on. We need to be seen. We need to show that we're human.
Yeah.
Were either of you on the chat last night when Billy Baxco was getting super chats for his AR-15 orangutan?
No, I missed that one.
Oh, was that on Bancroft's?
It was on Bancroft's stream
last. I saw that. Yeah.
So, alluding to what you're talking about, seeing Billy respond to those super chats, his genuine humble, his genuine appreciation. I didn't know much about him. I've seen him in several streams before, had a certain respect for him, but after seeing his being so humble and so appreciative, I gained a greater respect for him.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't have seen that if there was a blue circle on the screen.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And I
That's
think
really
that's
wise.
what more people need. And I also know that, I think Malin does it too when he does his Comicsgate thing, that he doesn't let people, I think I've only seen him let one person on the show that wouldn't show their face.
Oh, okay.
And he even warned him, he said, next time you got to show your face.
Yeah.
Like, oh, good. So it's not just me that feels that way. He wants people to know who they're, like I do. I want to know who I'm backing.
Agreed.
It's for their own good. Yeah.
It's as much about you guys as it is about your project. Because if you can't
100%.
believe the creator, are you going to back the project? No. I mean, most people wouldn't.
We don't have Marvel and DC to fall back
Like you
on.
were talking, like you said earlier about Liefeld,
Yeah.
Everybody knows who he is, but when he takes a hit like those, like he's done lately, it's like, most people are like, I don't think I'm going to touch that for a while because, you get burned once, you don't want to get burned again.
Yeah. And he's already got for the last 30 years, his rep hasn't been great. He's frequently had problems getting his art and book out on time, even back when he was doing Awesome and stuff like that, working with Alan Moore and people like that. Like that sort of stuff wasn't coming when he said it was going to be coming. So he's got a long reputation for that sort of thing. But Marvel and DC did the same thing. They made personalities out of their writers and artists, Stan Lee and guys like Todd DeFalco, stuff like that. Like you saw those guys out there, their caricatures and their personalities, again, exactly saying to get you to connect with that person, the person writing the book.
Right.
And Image, I think, really mastered that with, they almost went multimedia, in the 90s when you had all the guys in Wizard magazine, you had Valentino and you had Eric Larson and you had Todd McFarlane there, their pictures and interacting, you see them in their studios in a way that you never saw, sort of intimacy that made you believe these young guys are doing this and I'm part of them, helping to build that. And I think we're tapping into some same energy. You said Billy's there being real humble and you think, man, that money that goes towards that project, I'm helping to contribute towards that. I know that he appreciates my contribution and it's almost like this, it's almost like you're rewarding him for his time and skill, but then you get the benefit of interacting with him as a personality as well. It's a really great system and one that the other side of indie comics, I don't think, does a lot of and hasn't yet mastered and hasn't really seen the advantage of. They tend to look down their nose at it and think it's a bit of a grift with the super chats and all that. And it works. So get out there, get your face shown and talk to people and sell yourself as selling a book.
Agreed.
Yep. Well, speaking of selling books, let's see. Let Brian start here. So he has to go early because he's going on another stream right after this one.
Yeah.
So
you going on Mandy's stream?
I'm going on Mandy's. Yeah. Right.
I will see you there. I'm going on Mandy's stream as well.
Oh, awesome.
Nice. So both of you guys are here tonight, and then you'll hit her. Nice. That's funny.
Sweet.
That's awesome.
It's a really chill stream over there. She's just so positive, man. Like anything comes up, she's just like, what? And then it's just fun. It's just a real positive vibe. I said to her when I DM'd her, I said, can I jump back on your stream next time you have one? I said, it's such a chill vibe. And everything about Comicsgate right now just feels there's like a lot of pressure, a lot of competition, which is good because pressure creates diamonds. But at the same time, it's nice just to have a chill atmosphere. Like this is what we got going on here.
Right.
This is a chill atmosphere too. It's
that's what I like. That's what I like people to come on and talk so that people can get to see, and myself, of course, can get to see who you guys are and learn more about you guys and what you're doing in projects. That's what I like too. Those are the streams I enjoy.
Yeah, this kind of thing is a lot of fun.
Yeah,
just be yourself.
Yeah, just be yourself and talk, and I know it's hard for some people, but this is the industry. This is what we live in now, the time. So you gotta do that. That's why I feel so sorry for like introverts, because I'm like, oh man, no, you guys are got to be dying right now because you don't want to do this. Rough. Yeah,
I've always considered myself an introvert, but I don't find this difficult. I don't know.
That's good.
Maybe because it's not in person or something.
Yeah, that's good. Well, Brian, tell us about Siamese.
Okay, yes, thank you. Siamese is a trade paperback, and it will collect the 4-issue miniseries called Siamese that I published under the title of DojoKunComics. And it's part of a superhero universe. This would be a great jumping on point because this miniseries is the beginning of the superhero universe. And after this one's done, and it is, Deanna Hammer of the Angels is the next 4-issue miniseries. And I'm almost done with issue number 1 of that one. So hopefully we'll see that later this year. I'm thinking 3rd or 4th quarter. I got a couple other things that I'd like to get done first, but that doesn't mean it's not being worked on. I think we're on page 19 of 22 for the first issue of that. Then once her miniseries is done, I've already got a team book that's set to pick up where that one leaves off, and I've got about 7 issues of that already scripted. So I'm
Wow,
about
that's
7 or 8
awesome.
years planned out. I'm in this for the long haul, and I've been saying this on a lot of streams. This isn't braggadocio, but I want people to know that I have been publishing comics for about 6 years now. So I'm new to CG. And I'm new to Indiegogo. This is the first one I've crowdfunded. All of the others I paid out of pocket. So this is the first one I'm crowdfunding, and you can back with confidence that this will be fulfilled, and pretty quickly. So my goal is to under promise and over deliver. So I've got in the campaign, see when it launches, that I've scheduled it to fulfill in September. But I honestly believe it'll be sooner than that. But I want to give myself leeway. We were talking about it before we came on stream.
Yeah.
That leeway makes a big difference. And, things come up. Kemosabe had a couple of examples. I won't go over them here on the stream. He had some great examples of people that, life happens and you need to build in a little bit of lead time. So I've done that, and I think it'll be fair. But yeah, this one's largely done. So it'll have the 4 issues. It'll have a set of behind-the-scenes concept art. It'll have a fan art gallery and a professional art gallery in this book. So it's over 100 pages. It'll be perfect bound.
Oh, and, wow, nice.
Going to have 5 variant covers. And on the Barton Brothers stream, I revealed that the limited edition hardcover is by the Barton Brothers.
Wow.
So the cover, it will be by them. So that's going to be fun. So
another Aussie in the stream.
Another Aussie. Yep. If you could, Todd, if you could go ahead and hit the video for me.
Yep.
From DojoKunComics comes Siamese, the story of 2 Chinese-American college graduates whose deviation gene make them extraordinary enough to become superheroines. This trade paperback combines the 4-issue Siamese miniseries previously published by DojoKunComics. As our ladies discover their newfound power, we'll be introduced to other DojoKunComics characters such as the Countryman, Breathtaker, Brickhouse, the Scarlet Archer, and Psionica. DojoKunComics has released over a dozen comics so far. You can pledge with confidence knowing that obligations will be fulfilled. Superheroes are coming back. Don't miss out on Siamese.
All right, thank you.
Hell of a trailer, man. That sold me.
Really good.
That's got all
does a fantastic job, doesn't he?
All the Bronze Age goodness that I want in comics that I just can't get anymore. But it doesn't quite go over into that 90s extreme image where it starts to get bloody and gritty that I don't necessarily want. Like it's that nice period right in between 1986 Man of Steel and sort of 1992 Youngblood or something. It's that primo golden age for me. I'm just loving everything I see on there. That's great.
Great. Thank you very much.
Yeah, it looks really great. It said you've produced over a dozen comics.
Yes. And in fact, I'd like to go to my website in a moment here and show you what the covers of those comics to back that up. But I wanted to mention, if those of you who go here to my sign-up page and sign up early, you'll have the opportunity to get a Siamese postcard print, which is an exclusive just for those who sign up. As soon as the book launches, those will no longer be available. So the
Oh.
postcard print will be of that cover you see on the far right with the girls in their werecat form.
Oh, this one over here.
Yeah, I don't want to say any more than that. Things don't
Oh.
always go well for the girls, but I mean that's the whole point, right? You got to have
Right.
challenges and antagonists, et cetera, et cetera. So yeah, in these comics, there's going to be a group of superheroes introduced, like he mentions in the trailer, and a bunch of supervillains as well. And then again in Deanna Hammer of the Angels, the same will be true for her miniseries. So I'm really building up the universe in steps. So
So you said universe. So does this mean that this and the other one, they both exist in the same?
yes,
All part of the same universe?
that's right. Yeah,
Okay.
this one goes right into Deanna Hammer of the Angels. In fact, she has a cameo in this
Oh, nice.
miniseries. And then when that one's done, it goes right into the team book. And I'll show you the cover of that in just a moment. You'll see what I mean, that in fact, they're all a member of it. So let me do this. I don't have to share
I don't know about
audio.
anybody else, but watching your trailer, it made me think of I think it was it Lady and the Tramp with the two cats, and they sing
That's
a song,
right.
"We Are Siamese, If You Please."
And we are Siamese if you don't, please.
If you don't, please. Yeah, that's what popped into my head while I was watching that. I was like, "Oh my gosh, that's funny!" And then I thought that would be hilarious if you use that line in it.
One thing I will say I do is they always speak of themselves in the plural. These twin Siamese gals, they always speak of themselves in the plural.
Oh, that's hilarious.
So can you see my screen now, Todd?
Yes.
Okay.
There you
So
go.
there's a bunch of things on here I don't think I'll have time to get to, but just to give you an idea, this is what you'll see on my screen. Here's some talk about Siamese, that it's in pre-launch sign-up phase. Here's a teaser about some of the add-ons and stretch goals that will be available. I've got chibi stickers.
Oh, look at
I've got a keychain. I've got a challenge coin as a stretch goal. I've got a canvas print over here by Cy Lim. He's the co-creator of Siamese. There will be a poker chip available. There'll be a wall poster of Siamese and Deanna. And this isn't all of them. This is just sort of a sampling.
Oh, so this is the girl here. That's the Hammer? Deanna Hammer?
That's Deanna Hammer of the Angels.
Okay,
yes.
of the Angels.
And we'll see a much better,
that's really cool.
A better picture, but a different picture of her. This is a campaign you'll see later this year, I hope. So we'll probably be talking about that again sometime. This is trading cards I plan to produce this year.
Oh, nice.
I have some merch. So if you go to my website and hit sale, it'll take you there and you can get yourself a DojoKun shirt. I encourage that. Here's a book I'll be working on with a guy in the Philippines, but I really want to get down. Here's the section. Here are the titles that DojoKunComics has already produced.
Wow.
So here's the 4 books called Siamese. I've got these 4 here. So
and those first 4, the Siamese ones, those are all included in your trade paperback.
That's correct. All the covers, all the interior covers, all the back covers, they will all be in there.
Oh, okay, great.
And by the way, these are not the variant covers. The 5 variant covers I'm talking about are completely different from these 4 here.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So here's some more that we've produced. Toro Tales is an anthology series. This one has 5 stories in it. This is number 1, and it's already done. Number 2, I'd say, is about 3/4 of the way done, and it's going to have over 100 pages. That's going to have 12 different short stories in it. That's this Toro Tales. And Toro, by the way, is the stone lantern you see in my logo.
Oh, okay.
I've been a student of karate since college, and so I know a little bit of Japanese. I know the 5 rules of the karate dojo, which are called the DojoKun. That's the name of my company.
Oh, okay.
The DojoKun, the first one in Japanese is Hitotsu Jikanko Kensei no Sutamaru Koto, and that means to seek perfection of character. The others in English are to endeavor, to be faithful, to respect others, and to avoid violent behavior. So those are very important. And each of them starts with the word hitotsu, which means first, giving them all the highest priority. That's where the name of my company comes from. I really believe in those things.
Nice. Have you met Russ Leach?
Not on a stream yet, but I have seen him talking.
Yeah.
Yes.
His is Black Belt Comics because he's also into martial arts.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah. So I think that was great when you said that. I was like, oh, yeah, okay, just like Russ.
Sim Portier is a kickboxing instructor in France. So we were talking martial arts with Joe Catapano, who's also in martial arts.
Yeah. Oh, nice.
So here, this series here, this is number 1, Night Miss and the Scarlet Archer. It's the debut of both of those characters. This is sort of like harkens back to the day where Iron Man and Submariner would share a title, or the Hulk and Thor would be in the same book, but different stories. Right. That's how I did this one. Alliances is this one here is my homage to either Marvel 2-in-1 or Brave and the Bold, where one character will be in each issue and she'll have a rotating guest star. So the character that'll be in all of them here is Breathtaker. And for a better look at Breathtaker, we can scroll down here. This is her in the purple. Let me do this so we can get a little closer to her.
Yeah, that's Breathtaker.
Yeah. So she'll be in each issue of Alliances.
Perfectly named, Ryan.
Oh, thank you. This one here, the DojoKunComics Annual Compendium, is a lot like the official handbook of the Marvel Universe, where it's over 100 characters, a full body picture of them with their stats, origin, first appearance, powers, etc. So
that's
you
really
want to
cool.
know about each of them. The Loved Ones is a over 100-page black and white horror adventure story about the children of the classic movie monsters. So a wolf boy, a vampire boy, a witch girl, and the son of Frankenstein. And they set out to find their parents, and not everything goes well. This is the second printing of that book. It's available from David Whalen's website. He has his own comic book company called Correct Handed Press because he's a lefty. So not right-handed, but correct-handed. So you can order this book from either one of us. If you click the one on the left, it's from me. If you click the one on the right, it's from him. We are both very proud of this. So, whichever suits you, please do. The Mad King is a 3-issue miniseries. This is issues 1 and 2. David Whalen, the one who did The Loved Ones with me, is the cover artist on number 1. Number 2, the cover artist is Annette Bell. She is the artist on the interior of all 3, and every panel in these comics is a painting.
Oh, wow.
It's not just like painting, it is a painting, every panel. So that's kind of a unique spin on a comic book interior, and I think she did a great job, just like she demonstrates here on this cover. Number 3 is in the works. And then here, I Am Become Death. That's the Oppenheimer quote that actually goes back to Bhagavad I think. I don't know if I'm saying it right. It's an Indian prophet who said it first. I am become death, the destroyer of worlds. Oppenheimer said that when they released the bomb. But so this one here is a space opera with a very special twist. It was originally a prose novella by Nicholas Prontka, and he and I talked about making it a graphic novel. I'll be honest, full transparency here. It's only 12 pages of comic book for that's I Am Become Death. So at the back of this one, in order to meet the page minimum for Indie Planet, there is a gallery of pinups of the Breathtaker.
Oh, okay.
Smart.
So,
yeah.
So that's what's in, that fills that out to 20-some pages. I see that we're coming up on quarter 2. I want to make sure Kemosabe has some time, but I wanted to make sure that everybody saw that these are the 12 issues that Dojo-kun has produced already, and Siamese is a great jumping on point then for our superhero universe. Hope you give it a chance and sign up. I've got about, I think the last time I looked, I had 67 signups. I'd really like to reach 100, perhaps 200.
Yeah, and both of your links for your campaigns are in the description for the video, for this live stream as well. I put them there.
Great, thank you very much.
Mate, that's really impressive. You've absolutely blown me away with the quality and quantity of the work you've got there. Like, you hear people say we published a bunch of comics, but you don't necessarily go look for them. And for you to just say, here you go, have a look. I'm like, damn, they all look good. The covers are striking. That Loved One is such a fantastic concept. I Am Become Death has got a striking cover. It's got real planetary vibes. Like, I'm just impressed with the whole line. I'm going to go check those out, and I'm definitely going to sign up for Siamese.
Well,
you're hell of a salesman, brother. Hell of a salesman.
You have helped me by reminding me the top tier in my campaign will include one copy of all of those.
Oh, there you go. That's good to know.
Oh, nice. Okay.
I can't take credit for the idea, though. That idea came from Corey Barton. He said, why don't you just bundle them? I'm like, thank you very much. That's a great idea.
It's so good. You're like, I don't know why I didn't think of it, but now that I've heard it, it's so bloody obvious. Yeah. They're the best ones, those ideas.
Yeah, like Pete Sametti just did with their latest Alterna thing, where the one tier was one copy of every one of the Alterna books. And it was like that. It's like, if you've got those great books, do a tier where, everybody can get them all.
It's such a strength to have that back catalog. I can't wait till I get to the point where I can point to, half a dozen, 2 dozen books that I've completed with my name on it. You're just so far ahead, Brian. Like, you're just absolutely trailblazing with that range you've got there. I'm really impressed because I didn't know anything about this. I seen Simon, hey, that looks cool. I'm going to check that out. But now that I've seen the breadth of the whole thing, I'm a little
Yeah,
expensive, which
it's
doesn't
amazing looking. Yes. Yeah,
Thanks,
because
guys.
it's a lot of people wish they had that, that kind of catalog to draw on. And you've got like over a dozen issues right there to go with. That's amazing.
You can't buy that sort of legitimacy. There's no amount of, I've got this artist on the book, I've got all this artwork. It doesn't matter what you say. Nothing can buy legitimacy like a bunch of completed books of that quality. That's money in the bank right there.
Yeah.
Thanks so much.
That's like going, well, I got all these pages done. And then Brian's all, well, I got all these issues done. What do you got?
In a minute, I'm going to be like, we got 100% of the art done. Brian's like, please, please, please. Look at here's my back catalog.
Yeah.
It's so good. So good.
That is an amazing. Yeah. That you can do that. And especially for your first campaign here, you can then do that. You do that tier where you're like, look at all these other books you can get to help people go, wow, look at this. This is incredible.
I hope they do.
Now we'll go. Whoop. Why is this not? Oh, there it is.
Yes.
Okay.
Company man.
Now we'll go to Kemosabe.
Thank you. So Company Man, Dead White and Blue. There's a 180-page story, full color. This is 60 story pages in this book because the idea of shipping a 180-page book was just untenable. I couldn't get around it. However, since then, I've talked to RJ over at Critical Blast Logistics, and he's put together a fantastic shipping program, which means that people in the US are going to be paying up to less than half of what they're used to paying for a foreign book. So if you backed an Aussie book before when it cost $25, and then it adds another $20-$30 onto the shipping, you're paying up to less than half of that to get this book, because I'm shipping a bulk order over to RJ and he's redistributing it to you guys in the States. He's got
that's great.
He's got boards, he's got bags, he's got thermal wrap, he's got Gemini mailers, like the whole deal. It's all going to come out. He's going to be in great condition, and it's coming from the US, so it's saving you guys a whole bunch of money. And I'm hoping that entices people to buy on, because I know one of the biggest impediments to Aussie selling is the fact that it costs so much to ship. It costs even more to ship from you guys to us, but it still costs us a bundle. I've seen people ship from Australia, and a huge chunk of their profits have been eaten up by that. So when RJ said he's got this model for me, he walked me through it, because originally I was looking at John Malin with Secret Door, but their foreign shipping was like $63 to ship from America back to my own country. I'm not charging my countrymen $63 for my own book. Right. Actually, Aussies pay free shipping on almost every tier here within Australia, aside from the triple pack, which I just had to charge something because it's so big. If you're Aussie and you back my book physically, it's free shipping.
No, that's a great idea, because that way, like Malin and now Critical Blast, they can set this up to, like you're saying, you send it to them, they do it in the US here, and it doesn't cost hardly any shipping charges instead of trying to ship it from you. That's a great thing to hear people are doing.
I think it's going to become the future, and RJ's looking at for other people in other countries to do the same thing. I'm tempted to take his model and just set it up here. I've got a big garage. I can fit books in there, and he's even got like insurance for his contents of his storage area. So if your books go to him and there's a sudden flood or something and your books get destroyed, the republishing, the reprinting of those books is covered by his insurance. So it's all legit. He's got everything stitched up. He was able to show me on the day to the cent how much it would cost to send each book out to me when you include all the bagging, all the boarding, his fee, my shipping from me to him, and then from him to the other people in the States. And he's able to show me down to a cent. It was so many dollars and 2 cents.
Oh, that's awesome.
Tight. It's such a tight system. If we can get someone in Canada doing it, someone in the UK doing it, somebody in Europe maybe doing it. I don't know how Europe and the UK are these days with postage. Maybe somebody in Europe could do it for all of Europe, and the UK could just do it for that part of the world. But if we can get someone set up in all those areas, it's going to change the way Comicsgate distributes comic books, and it's going to make things so much more profitable for everybody else. Aside from that, 100% of the art done, cheap US shipping. Colors are 50% done, letters are 50% done. So this book is on its way to being finished. I've got myself a December delivery date, but that's only because I've never done this before, and if anything awful happens, I want to have that lead time that we talked about. Plus, I told you guys how my identity was stolen by the Chinese hackers from the Australian government website. I've told that story a bunch of times now. Put me back 3 months. 3 months of my life, I was not even a citizen. I was not a real person. I had to get a new birth certificate, new passport. Cost me a fortune. Absolutely. I had to say to my artist, look, I can't pay you for 3 months. He goes, okay, well, I've got to take other work while I'm waiting for you to catch up. So he took on some other jobs, and then he had to finish those before he could get back to me. Now we're back on track. Everything's on board. Like I said, he's doing the art for book 2 right now. I'm getting pages from him for book 2 while book 1's funding. So I'm hoping this book took us a year to get from February to February finished and ready to fund. I'm hoping next book's going to happen even quicker, like in half that time.
Wow. Yeah. Well, your artist looks really, his art looks really good. I mean, I looked at some of your stuff earlier and it looks really amazing.
Yeah, he is. I found him on a subreddit. I'm not I'm not a big user of Reddit or something, but I was looking for some artists, and there's a place on there called Comic Book Collaborations, I think, where a whole bunch of writers, artists, colorists, letters, they're all on there just trying to find someone else to collaborate with. And a lot of people are like, oh, you know, do the book with me and I'll split the profit with you at the end. It's like, what profit? This is crowdfunding. There's no profit at this stage, you know.
Yeah.
So I said, look, I'll give you a page rate. What do you want? And he told me that. He said, he said, how big's the book? I told him, he said, if it's that big, I'll do it for this many per page. So beautiful, let's make that happen. And every week he sends me through 5 more pages, and gradually I've just seen the story grow in front of me. It's absolutely surreal.
Nice. Wow. Do you want me to play the video on this?
Yeah,
or?
might as well.
Okay.
Never get tired of hearing my own voice.
G'day everyone, I am the Man Called Kemosabe, the man with the plan from the land down under, and I'm here to talk to you about the Company Men, Dead, White and Blue. The Company Men, Dead, White and Blue adds the action of Suicide Squad to the intrigue of Homeland and Body of Lies. It's strike back with superpowers. In a world where being superhuman is illegal, they are America's dirty little secret. A CIA-funded prevention and response unit on paper, but in reality, a superhuman hit squad protecting the nation's interests in the Middle East. When they receive information that a terrorist attack is imminent, one that will affect even the United States, they follow every lead in a desperate race against the clock to stop it. At every turn, they are betrayed and attacked by enemy and ally alike, until a final showdown tests their loyalty to their country, their job, and each other. This 60-page full-color book is packed with action and intrigue. It's the first issue in a 3-issue story totaling 180 pages, and the language, violence, and concepts are aimed at an adult audience, with a story that is layered and involved. This story, titled Dead, White and Blue, is the first arc out of 4 stories that tell the complete Company Men saga. All the pencils and inks are completed, and about half the colours and letters are done as well. The remaining colours, letters, and the setup of the digital file is budgeted for separate to this Indiegogo campaign. No matter what happens, this book is being published. Fulfillment is being handled independently by RJ from Critical Blast Logistics. Now, you guys know RJ. He's a stand-up guy with experience in this field, and he's worked hard to minimise international postage, letting us pass those savings on to you. We also have a Clayton Barton exclusive variant cover. This image graces the deluxe edition of the Company Men, Dead, White and Blue, an oversized stuffed to the gills edition filled with concept art, pin-ups, script pages, costume designs, page breakdowns, behind-the-scenes info, and sneak peeks at upcoming Company Men projects. The campaign goes live 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Friday the 19th on Indiegogo. I want to stress again, the success of this book, its ability to be completed, does not rest on this campaign. This campaign is to raise funds for the publishing and distribution of the comic. As we speak, Kelso Mazzina is already hard at work on the first pages of issue 2. You can back this campaign with confidence. And if you think this Aussie accent makes me sound dodgy and you aren't sure if you want to sink some of your hard-earned money into the Company Men, we also have a more inexpensive digital version available in the campaign. But I'm confident once you see how good this book looks, you won't rest until you have a physical copy in your hands. Thanks for having a look at this campaign, thanks for your consideration and support, and I hope you enjoy reading The Company Men, Dead, White and Blue as much as I did writing it.
So
that
somebody
looks
else
really, really good.
Thanks, mate. I put that trailer together myself. It's not, it doesn't have the bombasticity of Red Gaze, but somebody said you're very apologetic in your campaign, like you're trying to convince people they should give you their money. I'm like, but I have to be. Because I'm unproven. Like, I have to say, here's all the reasons you won't get screwed. Here's all the reasons you should back my campaign. You walk in with that BDE and say, my book's awesome, you should buy it, and your life's not going to be fulfilled without it. But I don't know how far I'd get with that sort of attitude. And the best thing I can do is say, here's all the advantages. Here's the reasons why you should. Another reason that you should is that all physical copies of the book come with the digital anyway. So if you're going to buy the digital, up your price a little bit, buy the physical, get the digital anyway. You might as well. There's a little blurb on there that says, don't pirate me, bro. It's going to happen. I can't do anything about that. It's okay. It gets book into more people's hands anyway. So we got the $80 the 80-page version. That's got the Clayton Barton cover with the Corey Barton colors on it, and like I said, it's got extra 20 pages of all the cool stuff that goes on behind the scenes. So 60 story pages plus 20 extra pages. So when I say the standard edition is 60 pages, that's 60 comic book story pages. There's going to be credit pages, going to be a thank you page on the other side, but you get 60 pages from page 1 to page 60, almost non-stop. Spycraft and action. If you just want to scroll down through these pages here.
Yeah, the Barton brothers are talented.
Oh, amazing. I joke that when they realize how much they're worth, I won't be able to afford to pay them to do a cover on the next book.
Yeah, exactly.
So this here, you got this Kelso Mazzina art with, he's so good. He's so talented. I saw him do some
really good
for Marvel and Punisher, and he just had all the guns and the nuts and the bolts and the little bits and pieces and the pouches and the padding and the motorcycles and the APCs. Like, this guy knows paramilitary. That's what I need for my book, because these guys are soldiers first, superheroes second. So
Yeah.
here's Jura arriving at this this rally, and the speech bubbles here, the narrator's box. It's all about how this guy Kagosi, the Reverend Tuma Kagosi, is this dictator. This he calls himself a god on earth, but here he is behind bulletproof glass preaching to the masses. And Jura, by extension, the CIA, and by extension, America, needs this guy out of the way because he allows terrorists to funnel through his country down into other countries. If they stop the flow of extremists here, there's going to be less boots on the ground in the other end where America's fighting the war. So this has high stakes and a very serious impact on the overall war effort here that Jura's here. But if he goes up and just kills this guy, he's going to turn him into a martyr. So instead he has to kill him with what looks like an act of God. And I call this the James Bond intro. This is James Bond opening, something really cool, brands the character early on, shows you who they are, what they do, what they believe in, the extent that they'll go to, and gives you a bit of an idea of who they are really quickly. So anything they come across in the future bounces off that perspective that you have of them. You go, okay, this guy's a bad dude. He's cold-blooded. He summons this ice storm. He knows he can't just murk this dude with a bullet to the head and a sniper rifle. So what's he do? I love this panel here where he's extending the ice storm out towards him. He's pushing these snowflakes and this energy of the ice towards this guy. Starts to freeze the dude. His hand freezes up. His skin splits. His blood expands. His whole body shatters. And just you can see his intestines there, the stump of his hand, and he just scatters these bloody chunks all over the stage. No sooner is this guy dead than Jura gets a call from the boss. She says, I need you to go to Nigeria. We've got another problem. He's like, I only just put this to bed. She's like, yep, that's great. Get on over to Nigeria. We've got another problem I need you to deal with, And you realize,
good job. Now get moving.
Yeah, go kill someone else for us. And you realize this is this dude's 9 a.m. appointment. Like he's just done. He's ticked his first thing off in his day book. He's got other stuff to do now. Like this isn't even a big deal to him. He's assassinated a world leader. He'll be out of there. 2 hours later, he'll be in Nigeria, and his job there is to kill an informant that Nigerian national security's got a hold of, who's got information that the company men need, but they can't let Nigeria have. And if they leave him alive, the Nigerians will somehow get the information out of him with a car battery and some jumper cables to his anatomy.
Exactly.
So they're like, you got to ice this dude. You got to get the information off him. You got to end him, and you got to get out of there alive. To that end, we're going to send Cinder, one of the other company men. You're going to meet up there, and you're going to sort this problem out. And that's where the real story starts. They get information. There's a terrorist attack going down. They don't know by who, but nobody's heard of these guys.
Well, these opening pages right here is quite an intro for the beginning. Like this is like, if this is the first few pages, you're like, damn, this is going to be good.
That was definitely my
pages as an example is what sold me on the book. I backed it. Yeah, absolutely.
I appreciate that, man.
And like I said, his art is really good. I like it.
He's only gotten better too. Not to the point where there's a discrepancy between the art at the beginning and the art at the end, but when you look at the art on page 60 and the art on pages 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, you can see that by working on this book, he's matured and just picked up a few little bits and pieces that makes the whole thing even more solid. So he said he's on board for all company men books. There's 12 issues to make up the 4 stories, the 4 arcs. He's happy to do the whole lot. So Kelsey, man, if you want to commit to that, we'll renegotiate your page rate after the first book's done, so that keep it fair for you, to keep it profitable for you. But I said, you'll be working for the next 4 or 5 years, brother. If you want to just stick with me, I will keep employing you. You will be the look.
Nice.
You will be the visually aesthetic for the company, man, going forward.
And then we've got great. And then you've got the digital copy here, like you said, which is $12 US, 15 Australian. And then this is the physical number 1 issue plus the digital for $23.
Yeah.
Or you've got a 3-pack, which is all three of the covers?
3 covers, yep. So the third cover that you see there, and the digital, that's right. The third cover you see there is Renzo Rodriguez cover. That was a secret cover that was only available to people who signed up ahead of time. So if you're one of the people who signed up to the book, you got a secret link to get that cover if you wanted it. I wanted to have a bit of an exclusive for those people that are willing to, because giving your email address,
right?
We're talking about how those email addresses and that mailing list is such a valuable, profitable thing for us that we can continually go back to and farm for people that are interested in our projects going forward. I wanted to reward the people that were able to do that. I wanted to push to 300. We ended up getting like 320 by the end of it.
Nice.
So at the end,
really
I said,
good.
if anybody who signed up and backs the physical book also goes into the draw to win an original page of Kelso Mezzine art, and I'm going to do a sketch card for them. I'm a pretty decent artist. I'm not Kelso level, but I'm pretty good. So
nice.
I'm going to do a sketch card and have that sent out with their books as well, because we were at 250, and I said, I think we've peaked, boys. I don't think we can get any more. And Dean, who I don't know if he's still around in the chat, he told me to stop being bitch made and said, push it to 300. You've got a week, make it happen. So I did everything I could, did as hard as I could, threw in the sketch cards. We ended up getting like 320 backers, I think. 320 people sign up, which is great.
That is great.
I want to say thank you, Todd, very much for having me on. I'm going to jump over to Mandy's stream now. So
Okay.
Thanks so much. I appreciate the opportunity. It was great talking to you guys and meeting you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's
been
great
great
talking
fun.
to you. Yes. Have to have you back on when you launch your campaign.
Yes, please. I hope to do that.
Okay, have a good night.
Thank
See
you.
you, man.
too.
See you over there in a bit.
Okay.
And then this looks great.
Thank you. It's
Art for sale and right here. And then you've got the traditional character art.
Yeah, so any character you want, you let us know. I'll let Kelso know. He'll draw it, whether you want it to be one of your own characters or a character from the book or a character that exists, Cable, Batman, Firebird, whoever. Like, he'll draw whatever. You know, it's just a way to get a little bit more capital in there because the more we make, the more he makes.
Hey, Hexdown.
Yeah, g'day, mate. The more he makes, the more the campaign makes, the quicker I can pay him to do more stuff. Dean he's so good at shilling. He's so good at shilling his book. He's always talking about it.
Yep.
That's how you got to be, man. You always got to be on.
Yep. And his character, the Embrace, looks so awesome. Like I told him before, I was like, that is like one of the best unique character designs I've seen in a while.
Yeah. I said to him, it's one of those designs that's so good, I'm mad I didn't do it. I'm mad that you've done it because I'll never
me too.
You know?
Me too. I'm like, oh man,
I wouldn't have come up with it, but I'm mad that somebody else did, and I never will have the chance to now.
Yeah, exactly.
And I really do believe it's going to be the Spawn or the Darkness of the CG. You know, I don't know. Yeah, I think it's going to appeal to that demographic. I think it's a standout character. It's a strong visual. His art's fantastic. The coloring on it marries with his art so perfectly. I haven't ever seen many of the colored pages, but gee, they look good.
Yeah, it looks so good. And I'm like, man, and that's one of the things we were talking about earlier. That's so amazing right now about CG is that the level of talent and the variety of books. I don't think there's literally a book in CG that doesn't conform to somebody's likes.
Yeah, it's something for everyone. When they say comics, it's for everyone. CG comics are for everyone because there's something for everyone. And you know, you've even got comic by people who are LGBTQIA plus. You know, like I did that pretty well. There's something for everybody. There's no bigotry. There's none of that they talk about. There is comics for everyone about everything. If you look, you will find it. And there's more and more stuff coming out daily. It really is Image 2.0. It really is the next wave. And somebody was saying, I think it might have been Alex in the chat there a while ago said that some of the CG characters are becoming so visually iconic, he could pick them out of a lineup of other characters. Like you look at them, and they're like DC and Marvel characters. You're so used to seeing them now, they've become their own thing. And that's when we win, when we become so visually unique that everybody recognizes us just by sight.
Right. There you go. People make excuses to be apprehensive to back books, but when Kemo lays down the fact that all and any concerns are addressed, they then say that he doesn't have to explain yourself.
Yeah, I find that, you know, people say, oh, I'm hesitant to back CG books, and say, well, here's why you can back mine with confidence. And they're like, oh, don't be apologetic. Don't talk more about the story and the characters as opposed to the campaign. But if people aren't feeling okay with that, there's no amount of talk about story and characters that's going to motivate them to shift their wallet and open their wallet. So,
right.
You know,
and that's what comes down to seeing the people too, like being able to see the creators and hear them talk about it. Because you got, like I said before, it's really great to hear and see you guys, the creators, because you can see and hear the love and of their campaigns and what they're doing. And that really resonates with people when they're like, oh yeah, I want this book too. I want to back it because of the creator and how much you feel that emotion coming from them about their projects. It's great.
And I think that was pioneered. You see a lot of that on like EVS's stream with Malin and some of those big names. They're there, they're visual, they're seen, they're present, they're interacting with the fans. You can see the passion. Like nobody pushes Cyberfrog harder than EVS. Like he talks about his own project with the love somebody talks about their own child. It is infectious. People do get swept up in it. And if you can bring that for your own book, then you're gonna be successful. If you do that and you deliver, you're going to be successful. And that's why I've given myself this bit of lead time. That's why I made sure 100% of the art was done. And I'm writing the sort of comic I want to see. You know, the story in this, the guys in this, they're hardcore dudes. They're like I said, they're super, but they're not heroes. There's definitely strains of Suicide Squad, that sort of, and morally ambiguous good guys. You know, they work for the betterment of the nation, but sometimes what the nation needs is that dude over there dead. And it might not be legal or ethical to do that, but if he's dead, it solves a whole bunch of problems. So who do you send in? You send in the company men. What backfires on them is when they push into this terrorist conspiracy plot to the point where their own government burns them and cuts off all their resources, and they're burned, they're blacklisted, they're out in the wilderness, they've got no support, no money, no funding, no vehicles. It's just the five of them having to clear their name, stop this terrorist attack, and prove that they're worth being re-employed by the CIA, because you could clear your name and the CIA just ditches that information and offs you anyway. So they need to get back in their good graces. And then because these guys are mercenaries, a few of them are like, well, I'm out. I'm cutting out. I'm out of here. And they said, well, if you leave, you go, you die, we all die. We've got to stick together. So Jura here, he's a leader. He's got to pull the whole team together. He's got to motivate them to stay together. He's got to motivate them to work as a team, put together their personal differences to stop the terrorist attack, prove their own innocence, and then get back in the good graces of the CIA. And as you'd expect with a book like this, with high lethality and bullets flying, not everybody makes it home in the end.
Right. Here's something funny for you. My uncle worked for the CIA.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So that's why I heard what pitch was before on another stream for the book. I was like, oh, okay, that's cool.
It'd be really cool to have, like, I remember watching Brotherhood of the Rose. I don't know if you've ever seen that with, I can't think who's in it.
I think I've seen it.
Yeah. And it's a very grimy, grey, boring side of spies and politics and stuff in the Cold War. Like, there's still Uzis and people getting their head shot by sniper rifles, but it's a lot of it's just people swapping briefcases and stuff. And it's very, very low key. Yeah. And I like that sort of low key, non-James Bond spy. It's like not everything is about backflipping off a skyscraper while surfing a dinosaur down to defuse a nuke and take out a terrorist leader. Right. Sometimes it's just really dodgy triple agents sleeping with each other and betraying secrets and stuff. So there is kind of a grounded grittiness to these guys, even though they have superpowers, even though they do backflips and explode buildings and kill people. There is sort of there's scenes there where they're just torturing dudes for information, or they're leaning on people for information and threatening them and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. It's funny because my uncle, I saw that, like I said, my uncle was with the military. He was with the Navy, and he was in Navy intelligence. And then he went into the CIA. And I didn't know that he worked for them. And then one time we got together for actually it was my dad's brother. And we got together for their sister's wedding. Yeah. And so it was the first time I saw him in a while. And he came up to me and he goes, "So your dad tells me you don't believe him." And I was like, don't believe him about what? He goes, "About where I work." And I went, "Oh, no, come on. No, I don't believe that." And he reached in his pocket and pulled out his wallet and he handed it to me. And he goes, "Open that." And I went, "Okay." And I opened it, and there was his ID and badge.
Fair income.
And I was like, holy.
I'd love to have somebody that actually was ex-CIA to talk to about some of the stuff. Like, this stuff's, it's not like I went and researched it. Yeah. These guys are CIA funded, their assets. They're out in the desert doing their own thing, and they sort of report back to boss. Who's the African-American woman with the cybernetic hand. She reports to the director reports to the president. So these guys are sort of their own thing, which is why it's so easy for the government to just cut them off and say, they just expunge all the records. No, we have no pay records. You've never been paid for us. You never worked for us. Yep. You're just out there in the Middle East causing trouble. In fact, we're going to send our own metahumans after you because now you're clearly the threat that you've been talking about. You're the one. Right. Because everywhere they say, oh, these terrorists are going to be here, they turn up and it's a red herring, but now they've been seen there. So the terrorists are going to go kill this guy, so they go to save him. But in the course of things, he gets killed or he gets kidnapped or hurt or whatever. So it looks like now the company men are the very terrorists they're trying to warn people about. So their own government's against them, their enemies against them, their own allies turn against them, and they have only really got each other to fall back on. They've really got to come through and form that camaraderie, that brotherhood that was always beneath the surface, but they were never willing to commit to one another, never willing to go that next level to be friends, because you never know who's going to die. Like the speedster in here, Ramjet, he's a new addition to the team.
And they do that. And it's called deniable plausibility.
Absolutely.
Plausible deniability. Sorry, I said it backwards. Plausible deniability is what it's called. And that way they can just go, "Oh, we don't know anything about these people."
Yeah, and that's what happens. There's no record. Yep. They say, prove that you worked for us. You don't have a CIA ID. Prove that you were doing stuff under our auspice. You can't, so you're out.
And then so anything that links you to them is, "Oh, look, it's gone. It disappeared."
Very, very, very easy to happen. And that's where these guys end up. And like I said, not all of them make it home, and some of them got to rethink, well, is this the job I want to be doing? Do I want to be working for a government, a company that's going to cut me off so quickly? And there's a bit there where Jira's talking to boss saying, I can't believe you let them cut us off. And she said, if you're as good as you reckon you are, you can turn this around. I'm stuck here. I got no leeway here. I got to do what the paymasters tell me. I've only got so much I can do. So if you want to make it through this, I quote Dean, don't be bitch made. Turn it around, solve the problem, come back to me with the evidence you need, and we'll make it right. So that's their job, and that's what the rest of the 180 pages is all about. Them traipsing all over the Middle East, getting in trouble, trying to prove they didn't do what they've been framed for.
Wow, that sounds awesome. So you said it's 180 pages?
Yeah, all up. So
Wow.
this book's 60. So you got 3 books of
Yep.
60 to make the 180. And it splits up nice and even because you get 3-act story structure. So this first act, this first book, is that point of no return that you get with the story when the new normal. You go through the door and you can no longer go back to the way the world was. Their new normal is there is a terrorist cell. They know the name of it. They know there's an attack coming. They've got proof, but they can't convince anyone else. So now they've got to move forward into the rest of the world, trying to stop a thing that nobody else believes or wants to believe is real.
Nice. And you said you're ready to do how many books?
There's 12 all up. They're
12,
all written.
okay, yeah.
So it's 4 stories, 3 books.
Is this going to be a continuous storyline, or is it going to be one shot, for different stories?
If you think of it like movies, so the Company Men Dead, White, and Blue is the first movie, split into 3 issues. Company Men Hearts of Darkness is the second movie, split into 3 issues. Company Men Cold War is the third movie, split into 3 issues. Company Men Insurgent is the 4th movie, split into 3 issues. So just for shipping costs, I couldn't find a way to ship a 180-page book without losing the house,
Right, exactly. Yeah, that's a lot.
G'day, Rick. Yeah, so that's the Kelso Mazine cover, that one. When that come through and I saw that,
hey, Rick.
That, and then I saw the inks come through for that, I knew it was real. I'm like, this is the cover for my comic. This is a real thing. This book that I wrote 10 years ago that I've been sitting on that I never thought was going to be real. You know, thanks to my wife being generous enough to say, look, we've got a little bit of extra money now that I'm back at work. Why don't you make this comic happen that you've always wanted to do? So which one do you think's the most profitable? I think Company Men. I can ride that sweet Jawbreakers coattails, get some of that Jawbreakers money. There's a bit of overlap there. I think my guys are like probably a bit more hardcore, a bit meaner than the Jawbreakers, a little bit more mercenary. I think the Jawbreakers, deep down, they're still mostly heroes. My guys, they sort of will go to those slightly darker areas, but I'd love to see
stay in the gray area.
Yeah, definitely.
They work for the CIA.
Yeah, they have to, because like I said, if one dude dying, even an innocent dude dying can save 10,000 other people from dying, these are the sort of guys that are willing to do that. Batman says, I won't kill an innocent life. I'll find a way around it. That's cool. You're Batman. You always do. These guys don't have that sort of luxury. So they just ice the line and move on.
It's like that age-old question of, if you could go back in time and kill Hitler when he was young before he did anything, would you do it? But he was innocent then before he did anything. But would you do it to save all those people?
Yeah, this is a real quandary.
It's that kind of quandary, yeah.
But these are the guys who would do that. These are the guys who say, look, I know it's not nice. I know it's not pretty. I know what you think of me when you hear this. But here's this Clayton Barton cover, absolutely insane. When he sent me through the black and whites, I'm like, how can I even get this colored? There's so much detail on there. There's no whites for the colorist to color. Yeah. And he said,
he's amazing on the detail. It's like, there's so much detail in what he draws. It's amazing.
Real Silvestri, Michael Turner vibes, really, really channeling that sort of thing. So we'll get Corey, get my brother to color it because he knows my style. And look at boom, look at that, the impact that has. It's fantastic. And then just down a bit further, you got the Renzo Rodriguez cover, which I really like because it tells a story about who the characters are. This one blew me away, this cover here. So you got Boss up the front because she thinks it's all about her because she runs the show. So she's out the front saying, look at me, everyone, she's the queen bee. Then you've got Jura and Abbott on either side of her, who are her 2 longest running, most loyal soldiers of the team. Abbott loves her like a little sister. Jura has like a romantic respect. I respect you for being a badass, for being capable and competent. So there's like a romantic love there. So they're the closest to her, protecting her. You got Ramjet on the side trying to ease his way in because he's in the blue there. He's the new hero. He's like, I'm part of the team, boys. You got Cinder up the back, who's sort of removed because he's always on fire. He's this burning man. So, and he's immortal and he can't die. So that sort of removes you from the rest of the human race in a way.
Oh, yeah. Also, he can't turn his power off. He's always on fire.
He can.
Oh, okay.
But he can't die, and he doesn't get any older. He's hit a certain point. He's just not getting any older. So he realizes, I can't have a regular relationship. I can't have regular lifestyle. Right. And then at the back, you got Gates, who's the most mercenary of them all. He's furthest back from them. He's almost not even in the picture. He's having a cigarette going, look at these wankers over here. You're taking a photo posing like a bunch of superheroes in your capes and your spandex. I'm over here having a smoke. But he's also a teleporter. So he's the first sort of guy that wants to cut out when things go wrong. Oh. He's like, I'm going to Honduras, man. I'm gone. See you later. Like I don't have to be here. You guys got to stand up and jump on a plane and go. I just teleport myself. So trying to wrangle him back and so he's got the least amount of connection to anybody. But then of course he comes into a situation in the story where he's got to decide: do I come through for these guys who, could be my friends, or do I continue to self-preserve and go off and do my own thing? So there's all those classic storytelling beats that you know and love that are being put into this colorful format, set in the Middle East, set in all this morally grey, this ambiguous area.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
There's a page of Kelso's original art. So there's some of those are being given away in the next couple of days to people who signed up for and then back the campaign. So I've got
his art is so good.
Yeah, it's really, really tight. It's really dynamic. There's the original covers for sale. Nobody's picked it up yet. I'm really hesitant to sell it, but if I sell it for what I'm asking for, it's a fair chunk of change towards making this stuff happen.
Yeah.
As much as I'd like to have it right here above my computer so I can look up and see it.
Yeah, exactly. Frame it and put it right there so you can always look at it. Yeah.
And then the other thing is, of course, Company Men's part of Brain Cage Studios. I'm working with Greg Levitra, Ben Phelps, Dan Fogarty, Stefani Renee, Chris Oak. I think Smiling Bandito has just come on to do some work with us. We've also got some actually got some ex-pro writers have been hired to come and do scripting work with the company. Wow. So not a lot of stuff I can necessarily talk about till things are finalized. You know how it is, but it's all new to me. Like I've never had to do this sort of thing before.
I love Stefani Renee and Chris and Oker, amazing artists.
Yeah, he's doing a fantastic picture for me right now. We're hoping to make it into a poster and a shirt. It's the Company men all sitting around in the Chris Oak.
Oh, Chris Oak. Okay.
Yeah. So it's the Company men sitting around in the hangar of a plane after a mission, all sharing a beer. And they're all doing little things that sort of speaks to their character. It's just a really chill, nice aftermath moment that you don't always get. It's a really wasn't my idea. It was Greg's idea to do it, and it's just such an on-point idea. So it's part of the bigger Brain Cage universe. These characters cross over. There's overlap. There's already a Company Man cameo written into Gun Demon 1. So in Greg's book, Gun Demon 1 comes out, there's a Company Man stinger right at the end. You know how Marvel did those stingers after the credits?
Right.
With a Gunny, the Gun Demon appearing in the world. It's the first appearance of all these hellish demons and stuff on Earth. And they're like, well, these guys have got powers. We need to call the Company Men because they deal with superhumans and stuff. And Abbott's there with the boss. And Abbott's like, no, this is not the first time we've seen this stuff. I've been around since World War II. This stuff was around then. This is an invasion. These guys are coming back. And this kicks off.
Wow.
Yeah. So it kicks off this big invasion event that's happening, World War Hell, that's happening simultaneous to the regular books. Its own separate event that you can pick up that links into all these characters, but it doesn't. You're reading a Wolverine run and then House of M happened. And then in the middle of your Wolverine run, you got 4 issues of House of M. And then it goes back to your regular run. You're like, I wish they wouldn't do that. Yeah. And then they did it again with Civil War. You got 4 issues of Civil War. Wolverine's pulled out of whatever he's doing to go do Civil War stuff. So we're keeping it all separate, but it's still linked in and there's still a timeline. So all this stuff is happening. There's concept work and scripting work happening. We're hiring people to do the stuff that we can't necessarily do, and all the budgeting's being helped set out ahead of time, so we're hitting all of our goals and our milestones and not overreaching. So it's a long-term plan. This sort of thing's been Greg's had this sort of plan working for a while, and he's pulled in the people whose work that he's liked and said, look, do you want to come on board? And I was really lucky that his universe is so modular. I didn't have to really change anything about the Company Men. In fact, all the stuff with Abbott and World War II is just dovetailed nicely into what they're doing with World War Hell and Hitler's body and zombies and all that sort of stuff, and it's all linked in together, and it's just made the whole world richer and more involved.
Yeah, that's also awesome for other books being launched and then going, look, this is as a crossover with this other book you already know about, and different things like that. That's a really great idea to do.
Yeah, and then on top of that,
all of the other books in the group too.
Yeah, and that's the hope that it's like one of the stretch goals here. We want to get Stefani Renee's like an ash can, like a 0 issue of his Scarab character. It's kind of like our Iron Man, but with Egyptian mythology. So he's
I saw him drawing that.
Yeah, so that's that guy that we've got there on the screen there.
Oh, that's
the Scarab. So that'll be it's a stretch goal for Company Men. So if we hit a certain point, it's going to pay for him to have that printed and contributed to the campaign.
Oh, that's really good. Oh. And then you've got the next one is Battle Gate Deck, the villains. When we achieve our stretch goal.
Yeah. So there's a CCG, collectible card game like Magic, like Versus.
That's really cool.
Yeah. So there's definitely a niche for that sort of thing in Comicsgate. I'm surprised nobody's done it before.
Yeah.
I've heard people talk about it, but Greg had a system in place that he'd been developing for a fantasy battle game for a while. And he said, well, it's really, the mechanics are there. It's just a palette swap. You just add the characters in here and you tweak all the powers and abilities to be specific to the Brain Cage universe. So it's a very simple process to transfer that over. So with my campaign, hopefully we're going to print and distribute the villain deck. So you'll have a bunch of villains from Company Man, from Gun Demon, some of the enemies from Scarab, from World War Hell, stuff like that. And then in Greg's campaign, the hope is that we're going to have the hero decks. So you're going to have some of the Company Man, you have Gun Demon and characters like that. And then you can mix and match, play those decks against one another. And then we also got other creators that might not be part of Braincage Studios necessarily, but they're bringing their characters over to have booster decks and starter decks made of their universe. You know, so you got someone who's got a couple of books out already. You got someone, you know, like Brian was on a minute ago. He's not someone we've talked to, but he's a great example of the sort of thing we're doing, where a character like him that's got this stable of characters comes to us and says, have all these characters, like, that's cool, we'll make a deck for you, we'll develop it, we'll make sure, we'll work in tandem with you to make sure the power levels are correct and the abilities are right, but it'll dovetail really nicely into the system that we've got. So your cards can be used with my cards, can be used with his cards, and you make your own deck with all your favorite characters, all your favorite CG characters, and then you're playing matches against each other.
Wow, that's awesome. And then you got a whole big, you know, universe of cards that you can build your deck from and play against each other people. Play against other people. That's really cool.
Build hype. You know, you'll be getting the Scarab card with Greg's campaign, and then the Scarab comic is going to launch in wave 2 after Greg, because Greg and Mike books are wave 1. Wave 2, you know, might be Stefani's book, and his character, you're hearing about it now in preparation for that next wave launch the year after. So it's everything's being built on.
Yeah. So he's going to do this book after he does Moya?
And he's working on Red Key as well.
Oh, wow. Yeah, and I just heard that
Murphy, I think.
Art Taber just said he's doing something with Stefani Renee too.
Yeah, he's a busy guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't understand how he does it, because the art is so detailed. Somebody called him like the Brian Bollard of Comicsgate, and I really agree with it. He's got that real, not stiff, but it's like a really refined style.
Right.
Very deliberate.
If you watch his live, one of his drawing streams, you can see, it's like, wow, he's so much detail in it that it's like, and you look at his art, especially like for the Thomas Moya stuff, it's like, this looks amazing. This is like so detailed and so really good looking. It's like, wow. It's like he was one of them. I didn't even need to see him to back the book first, because I'm like, this is really good.
Yeah, like I can present all the facts I want, but really good line art is going to sell your book at the end of the day. If you've got really good line art and you've got enough of it to convince people, they're just going to lay their money down. Like you see, Thomas Moya, I don't know how that didn't do a lot more than it did straight up. I think it just sort of a lull period, COVID and everything. I think it's just a funny sort of time to be launching a book, but that's an A+ book right there. It's such a quality book.
Yeah. And with everything going on, and that he always thinks that he doesn't speak English very well. I keep going, you speak better than some people I know here in the US. Come on,
right.
Like,
you're doing fine. Yeah.
Come on, you're doing fine. And then he hasn't made an appearance, or his rounds on like YouTube's and streams and stuff either. So, that kind of hurt him too, because nobody knew who he was. That's was another problem,
isn't it?
Because his book is amazing. I mean, oh my God, I can't wait to get that book.
I mean, it's a sympathetic audience. People want to see him. If he struggles for a word or stumbles, people will be very forgiving. They're not going to be worried about that.
Yeah, that's what we keep telling him. We're like, you speak English fine. I mean, like I told him, I go, I live in Florida, and I go, there's people around here that you speak way better than they do. But no, that's amazing to see that you guys are doing all that.
Yes, a lot of big plans, long-term thinking, not rushing into it. Like I said, making sure the budgeting's there ahead of time before we go forward with anything. But it's all been done right. We're getting people in for scripting, people in to do the concept work, to make sure that everything's as tight as possible. So Company Man was developed individually and to the point where it was done. And then Greg said, hey, I really like what you're doing. Would you consider coming on board with this shared universe? And he showed me some of his ideas for marketing and some of the contacts, and he had the reach that he had. And that's something I wanted to avail myself to. And then I started talking with the boys about the story potential. And there's just so much great story potential for this shared universe here. It's going to be the biggest shared universe in CG today.
Oh, that's awesome. I'll scroll back up here real quick so we can see. Oh, you still got 46 days left. So yeah, this looks really good. I will be backing it. And I haven't. The only reason I haven't backed some of the projects already was because, like I said earlier to you, my computer crashed.
Yes,
and took out two hard drives, multiple terabyte drives. So. I was like, oh, that was a chunk of change that I wasn't expecting. Like you said, things happen. Yeah. I wasn't expecting to be spending that much money on getting my computer back up and running. So that was
a letter from the government.
Exactly.
Saying that your identity's been stolen by a hack. Saying like 600,000 Australians had their identity stolen. They didn't tell us to 6 months later. It happened in like March last year. Yeah. And we didn't hear till like near the end of the year and say, oh, by the way, they got your identity. You might want to just do something about that, mate.
Oh, yeah. It was our fault, but you might want to do something about that. Yeah.
I think they're trying to cover it up, and they weren't able to. So then they had to sort of just bite the bullet and admit that it happened. But they admitted it way too. If they told us early on, it wouldn't have been such a big impact on the book.
Right.
Anyway, we're here now, and it's done, and it's.
Yeah,
I'm really, really proud of the work that we've done. I can't wait to get it into people's hands. Like I said, I got that December date, so I've got a lot of lead time. But I'd be surprised if you guys don't get the book a couple of months before that. Like once the coloring and the lettering's done, and it's 50% finished already. And like I said, the money for that is separate to the campaign. That money is budgeted for now. That's just getting done. Every couple of days, DO sends me through more colored pages. So as soon as that's done and the digital version's made, I can print it and start looking at sending copies over to RJ.
Wow, that's awesome. Well, like you said, you already made your goal, and you've already got 111 backers. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
But yeah, this definitely needs to be seen by more people because this looks really good.
I honestly believe that's what it is. It's just about being seen. If you can get eyes on your project, I always say like 100 people see it, 50 think it looks cool, 30 say, I'll think about backing it, maybe 10 actually back it, or 10 bookmark it and then 5 back it. I don't know. I got like a 3% success rate. The amount of people that, for every 100 people that click on the campaign, 3 back. By the statistics that I've got there. So I just need more people to see it.
Yeah.
If they see it, they see what it's about. I'm sure more people are just going to say, hey, this sounds really cool. I want cool comics. I want entertaining comics. That popcorn, turn off your brain, good guy, bad guy comics. I want to be entertained. I don't want an agenda. This is what this book is bringing. And it's the start of, a whole universe, not even just the Brain Cage universe, but all the stuff I'm doing as well. There's one-shots and side stories. I've got this mini-series I've already scripted called Company Men Black, which is Black Ops, Black Site, and Black Bag, where Boss pulls other characters from other creators, as well as some of my own, to make mini teams of company men to send out and do the very worst low-key missions that nobody, even the company men, don't even know about. So I'm talking to a bunch of other creators and saying, would you be interested in a crossover? Well, let me borrow your character. I'll script them into a company men side story. They won't die, of course, because they're your character. But so
Yeah.
you're going to be seeing other CG characters in this series interacting with my characters and doing these missions. So there's a whole bunch of stuff going on, and this is a chance to buy in on the ground floor and the beginning of this universe.
Yeah, that's great. You're all, hey, oh, by the way, I'm going to kill your character. Is that okay?
That'd be cheeky.
Yeah. No, that's great. And, speaking of, being seen by other people, I know you're going to be on Mandy's stream next as well.
Yeah.
So if there's some more you want to talk about, or we can let you go, or, if you need to go, or you got more time.
I think it wraps it up. Like,
okay.
You got the digital there if you're not sure, but for a little bit more, you can get the physical and the digital anyway. Cheap shipping within the US, free shipping within Australia.
Yeah, the thing with Critical Blast, that is going to do amazing things for people pay the huge amounts for shipping.
I'm telling everybody about it. It's such a great system. It's such a great setup. I really believe it's going to become the standard. And I know a few people said, if you have so many 100 or less, you should do fulfillment yourself. I don't want to be sitting in my garage boxing up. Like, I'd rather just pay someone else to do it, make sure it's done really well, save them shipping costs from here instead of getting it from the US, and that way you guys get the book quicker and you're more likely to come back for the second one. I want to prove myself. I want people to say this is a good book. It come before it said it was going to do. It looks great. It was a fun read. I can't wait to see what happens next. And then when I launch book 2, we'll fund in a day instead of a week.
Yeah,
that's the goal.
That's the thing, everybody, that's what things people need to learn is that consider the first book, if you're a new person, as your intro into comics for most people to know who you are. And then once you get it done, prove that you've got it, fulfill, people get it in their hands, the more people that start talking about it and doing like the reviews of your comic and that kind of stuff, then more people are going to know about it for your second book. And then as I said earlier to you, that I think everybody I've seen this did book 1, when they went to book 2, all of their sales went up, doubled or even more sometimes. And like the Zaid Comics, I was talking about them was, Phil told me that from book 1 took 60 full days to reach their goal, and the new one, book 2, A Magic Cop, took 1 day.
That's a huge turnaround, And so again, this is what I'm saying with Brian. Like, you can't buy the cred that comes with a full stable of finished works. You can't buy the cred that comes with a fulfilled book. I've spent 10 grand on this book already, but I will have by the time the last bit of coloring and lettering has been done and the digital file's been put together. That's not even counting printing. That's just getting it made. 60 pages of full colored art, US dollars, $10,000. I'm not expecting to recoup that money off this campaign. This campaign is just to cover the cost of printing and distribution. I know I'm taking a big financial hit early on, but I believe in the product that much that I really believe people will come back for a second and a third. And that's when I start to make the profit. That's when I start to make the money on the money I've invested.
And it's good to hear that too, because some people are like, oh, I'm going to make this one. If it's not a huge success, I'm not going to do anything else. Yeah. And then people are like, well, why would I want to book it? Why would I want to back it then? If you're not going to, if you're going to ditch and run, cut and run, it's like, well, that doesn't make me want to back your book. But people like, when you hear like what you just said, you're like, no, I'm fully into this. I'm going to take this thing all the way. And then people are like, well, okay. And then when they see the great, like I was saying, how great the art is in this and the story, and then they see all this stuff. And then when you fulfill, they're going to be like, oh, this is awesome. I like this. And they're going to come back for more, for the second campaign, third, whatever you're going to do after that.
Yeah, that's the plan. That's the plan. Yeah. And the way that it's going with the books being done before fulfillment, I might even get to a point where I'm just doing it more like a pre-order system on a website as opposed to Indiegogo. Like, I don't know for sure. Indiegogo is good for building hype. It's also really stressful though. My ulcers are playing up awful. I've been good for years watching what I eat. I started an Indiegogo campaign. I've been in constant pain for the last 2-3 weeks. It's awful, man. I can't wait for it to be over. I even looked on it and I said, is there a way to end the campaign early? Is there a way to end it after a month and just get the book out there? But now I'm locked into 2 months, so we'll go the full 2 months. That's fine. But I was literally just going, I would rather end the campaign after a month, cut it, fulfill it, get it done, and start on the second one, because I'm right now my stomach is just crazy. I hate it. It's hard work. Not that I don't believe in the product, but it's just you're checking, you're seeing if you're getting sometimes there's a day where you don't get a single new book backer and you think, oh, what am I doing wrong? I've got to get out there. I've got to be seen.
Right. Yeah, it's all part of that first, so many days of it. You've got to get out there and promote.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's what everybody says is promote, promote, promote. And then you can drop off a little bit and then come back towards the end and go promote, promote, promote. That's why a lot of people have things like going on at the beginning. And then some people have stuff at the middle, just to give it a little boost. And then when they go into the ending of it, or when it goes into in demand, they'll have something added to the campaign just to give it a little kick into the in demand.
Yeah,
for that reason.
We're going to start adding those stretch goals and stuff. We're going to start adding merch. Greg's got a printer and stuff, so we're going to start adding hats and beanies and
nice
hoodies and shirts and stuff like that to the campaign soon. So hopefully that's if that's something people are interested in, some company men stuff, some brain cage stuff, that'll give it a little bit of a boost. And then we start looking at stretch goals, prints and posters and that sort of stuff. Once we've made the funding level, so now we've got a little bit of money to play with, and we can sort of see where we want to go with that. So we've got a few ideas, and we'll see what happens over the next couple of weeks, adding more product to the campaign.
Oh, okay, that sounds great. Well, I put the links for DojoKun's for the Siamese sign up in the link in the description below, and I got your campaign in there as well. So everybody go sign up for the Siamese for DojoKunComics, and then go back Kemosabe's The Company Man, because it looks like a great campaign. I will be. And thank you. Well, I was going to say thank you to him, but he's already there. Well, thanks for coming on. It was great. And I'll, end it here, so you can go run over, get on Mandy's stream too. That's funny. You were both on there tonight. And I knew he was, but I didn't know you were too. Yeah. That's funny.
I just asked at the last minute. I saw that she put a thing up and said, we've got these people coming on. I said, look, if you've got space, can I jump on again? Because it's a really cool vibe. But I haven't had any real bad experiences. Every show I go on to, people are really cool. They just want to talk comics. It's really chill. It's fun. The only ones that are stressful are like Peter Samedi and John Malin's one, because you're like 5 minutes, go.
Yeah.
And and I'm lucky I can talk fast, but I see some people drowning. I'm like, I feel bad for a man, because you've got to prep. You've got to get ready. You've got to be able to do your spiel at a moment's notice and just skip syllables. Just go for it. Don't breathe.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, well, thank you everybody for joining us tonight for another edition of Creator Truths, and we'll see you guys in the next episode. Bye.
See ya.